I don't know. Where are we? Hey everybody, welcome back to Listography. Jason and Kramser here, and we are still talking Pavement. We've ranked the 5 studio albums. We gave our top 10 songs. For side 3 today, we've got a little bit of a fun one. We are going to talk about songs that make reference to or shout out or call out other artists or bands. This is inspired by Range Life mostly, where they mention STP and Smashing Pumpkins. You've also got Stereo, where he talks about Geddy Lee. So we thought this would be a appropriate conversation for Pavement. There's a lot. I'm interested to see what everyone puts in the comments, because I think, there's a ton of examples of this. I was surprised how many there were, actually. I've got some good ones.
Yep.
See what you got.
Yeah, I went more the literal route. There's tons of lyrics that have some nuance and some hidden kind of throwouts, but I'm going for ones that pretty much directly call out a song or someone. Maybe the most famous to me, Weezer with Buddy Holly. I'm also looking at The Seeker by The Who, when he talks about asking Bob Dylan and the Beatles. I think the favorite one that I come across, which I kind of forgot about, is when the Hold Steady make reference to Born to Run on Barfruit Blues. The song's kind of about the changing tastes of the rock scene, and I think the lyric is half the crowd is chanting for Born to Run and half the crowd is chanting for Born to Lose. And I always loved, if you don't know the Hold Steady, love them. I also really like the Ode to Alex Chilton and the reference always having Big Star by The Replacements. And then a personal favorite of mine, I'm looking at Regina Spektor with the song On the Radio, and she talks about listening to November Rain. Apparently one night she was with some guy and November Rain came on back to back on the radio, which she thought was bizarre, especially for such a long song. Could be false, could be fiction, but it makes for good lyrics. I got a bunch more, but I don't want to rain on anyone's parade. Want to keep it for the comments. And I think I know one for sure that you're going to bring up shortly.
It's interesting. You had a couple bands that I also have, but we have different songs. So I think there are certain bands that sort of use this a lot. They kind of have the history of rock music kind of built into their sound and their songs. The Hold Steady is definitely a band that does that all the time, always talking about the scene and different bands and shows that he went to. And I have the track Stay Positive from them, where he talks about the youth of today and the early 7 seconds taught me some of life's most valuable lessons. The youth of today and 7 seconds, of course, are early hardcore bands. I also got a pair of tunes from Weezer. In the Garage talks about Kiss. He's got Ace Frehley. He's got Peter Criss. And El Scorcho, where he asked you to go to the Green Day concert, and you said you never heard of them. I've also got All the Young Dudes. He says, my brother's back at home with his Beatles and his Stones. There's also the line in that song about T-Rex. I've got Cape Cod Kwassa Kwassa by Vampire Weekend, where he says Peter Gabriel. Not sure why he says Peter Gabriel, but another band that does it several times is LCD Sound System. I've got Losing My Edge, where he basically names every record in his collection. So there's probably 50 examples in that song. And they also do Daft Punk is Playing at My House, which is another good example. I'll give one more here. I've got Rock Show by Paul McCartney and Wings, where he says it looks a lot like the one used by Jimmy Page.
Thought for sure you were going to go with Play It All Night Long by Warren Zevon.
I've got a few more. You want to do the lightning round?
Yeah, I got one of my favorites, Arctic Monkeys. I just love the way they do the Rio line, where her name is Rio, but she doesn't care for sand or whatever it is. That one's pretty awesome. I'm sure Joe, had he been on this video, for sure would have talked about Thunder Road. Maybe is one of his all-time favorite songs with the Roy Orbison call out. Yeah, there's a lot, man.
I have Anyone Can Play Guitar by Radiohead. I Want to Be Jim Morrison. And I've got Smoke on the Water, where he talks about Frank Zappa and the Mothers.
I forgot about that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Who call themselves out in You Better You Bet. where he talks about listening to Who's Next or whatever. Yeah, to the sound of old T-Rex. Oh, and Who's Next, I would assume, is about their old album. So throwing it out to themselves, very cool. Not to mention millions and millions of diss tracks in the hip hop world. So I didn't want to get into that because it's a slippery slope all over the place. You go back and forth and do a Ken Burns war documentary on some of those rivalries. So
Yeah, that's kind of its own thing. That's a different category, I think.
sure.
But yeah, there are a ton of these, and I'm interested to see the comments, what everyone's got. Leave them down below. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and check down in the description for links to social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow those, and we will see you for 1989.